The role of the President of the United States is one of the most significant leadership positions in the world, with each president shaping the nation's path, both domestically and internationally. Since George Washington took office as the first president in 1789, the U.S. has seen 47 presidents who brought diverse backgrounds, policies, and leadership styles to the White House. Each president's tenure has been marked by unique challenges and achievements, reflecting the evolving landscape of American society and global influence. Here's an overview of all 47 U.S. presidents. 1. President George Washington, Party. No party, tenure, 1789 to 1797, State, Virginia. Major accomplishment, established executive cabinet and set presidential precedents. Key event, quelled the Whiskey Rebellion. 2. President John Adams, Party. Federalist, tenure, 1797 to 1801, State, Massachusetts. Major accomplishment, drafted the Declaration of Independence. Key event, managed the XYZ affair with France. 3. President Thomas Jefferson, Party. Democratic Republican, tenure, 1801 to 1809, State, Virginia. Major accomplishment, doubled U.S. territory through the Louisiana Purchase. Key event, initiated the Lewis and Clark Expedition. 4. President James Madison, Party. Democratic Republican, tenure, 1809 to 1817, State, Virginia. Major accomplishment, father of the Constitution. Key event, led the U.S. in the War of 1812. 5. President James Monroe, Party. Democratic Republican, tenure, 1817 to 1825, State, Virginia. Major accomplishment, issued the Monroe Doctrine. Key event, era of good feelings following the War of 1812. 6. President John Quincy Adams, Party. Democratic Republican, tenure, 1825 to 1829, State, Massachusetts. Major accomplishment, advocated for internal improvements. Key event, faced backlash from the Tariff of Abominations. 7. President Andrew Jackson, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1829 to 1837, State, South Carolina. Major accomplishment, established the Democratic Party. Key event, passed the Indian Removal Act. 8. President Martin Van Buren, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1837 to 1841, State, New York. Major accomplishment, formed the Democratic Party. Key event, managed the Panic of 1837. 9. President William Henry Harrison, Party. Whig, tenure, 1841, State, Virginia. Major accomplishment, first president to die in office. Key event, died 1 month into office. 10. President John Tyler, Party. Whig, tenure, 1841 to 1845, State, Virginia. Major accomplishment, annexed Texas. Key event, signed the Webster-Ashburton Treaty. 11. President James K. Polk, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1845 to 1849, State, North Carolina. Major accomplishment, expanded U.S. through Mexican-American War. Key event, Treaty of Guadalupe, Hidalgo. 12. President Zachary Taylor, Party. Whig, tenure, 1849 to 1850, State, Virginia. Major accomplishment, advocated for national unity. Key event, died in office, succeeded by Fillmore. 13. President Millard Fillmore, Party. Whig, tenure, 1850 to 1853, State, New York. Major accomplishment, signed Compromise of 1850. Key event, enacted the Fugitive Slave Act. 14. President Franklin Pierce, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1853 to 1857, State, New Hampshire. Major accomplishment, supported the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Key event, Bleeding Kansas conflict. 15. President James Buchanan, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1857 to 1861, State, Pennsylvania. Major accomplishment, failed to prevent civil war. Key event, Dred Scott decision increased tensions. 16. President Abraham Lincoln, Party. Republican, tenure, 1861 to 1865, state. Kentucky. Major accomplishment. Preserved the Union and abolished slavery. Key event. Assassinated shortly after Civil War. 17. President Andrew Johnson, Party. National Union, tenure, 1865 to 1869, state. North Carolina. Major accomplishment. Led early Reconstruction. Key event. First presidential impeachment. 18. President Ulysses S. Grant, Party. Republican, tenure, 1869 to 1877, state. Ohio. Major accomplishment. Supported civil rights. Administration marred by scandals. Key event. Fought Native American resistance. 19. President Rutherford B. Hayes, Party. Republican, tenure, 1877 to 1881, state. Ohio. Major accomplishment. Ended Reconstruction. Key event. Compromise of 1877 resolved contested election. 20. President James A. Garfield, Party. Republican, tenure, 1881, state. Ohio. Major accomplishment. Supported civil service reform. Key event. Assassinated, leading to reform. 21. President Chester A. Arthur, Party. Republican, tenure, 1881 to 1885, state. Vermont. Major accomplishment. Passed Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act. Key event. Enacted the Chinese Exclusion Act. 22. President Grover Cleveland, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1885 to 1889, state. New Jersey. Major accomplishment. Advocated for fiscal conservatism. Key event. Managed the Haymarket Affair. 23. President Benjamin Harrison, Party. Republican, tenure, 1889 to 1893, state. Ohio. Major accomplishment. Expanded the U.S. Navy. Key event. Passed Sherman Antitrust Act. 24. President Grover Cleveland, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1893 to 1897, state. New Jersey. Major accomplishment. Only president to serve non-consecutive terms. Key event. Faced the Pullman strike. 25. President William McKinley, Party. Republican, tenure, 1897 to 1901, state. Ohio. Major accomplishment. Won the Spanish-American War. Key event. Assassinated in 1901. 26. President Theodore Roosevelt, Party. Republican, tenure, 1901 to 1909, state. New York. Major accomplishment. Progressive reforms and national parks. Key event. Started Panama Canal construction. 27. President William Howard Taft, Party. Republican, tenure, 1909 to 1913, state. Ohio. Major accomplishment. Progressive reforms and antitrust lawsuits. Key event. Established Federal Trade Commission. 28. President Woodrow Wilson, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1913 to 1921, state. Virginia. Major accomplishment. Founded League of Nations post-World War I. Key event. Signed Treaty of Versailles. 29. President Warren G. Harding, Party. Republican, tenure, 1921 to 1923, state. Ohio. Major accomplishment. Return to normalcy. Key event. Teapot Dome scandal. 30. President Calvin Coolidge, Party. Republican, tenure, 1923 to 1929, state. Vermont. Major accomplishment. Business-oriented policies, economic prosperity. Key event. The Roaring Twenties. 31. President Herbert Hoover, Party. Republican, tenure, 1929 to 1933, state. Iowa. Major accomplishment. Managed initial Great Depression period. Key event. Stock market crash of 1929. 32. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1933 to 1945, state. New York. Major accomplishment. New Deal programs and World War II leadership. Key event. Pearl Harbor, U.S. entry into World War II. 33. President Harry S. Truman, Party. Democratic, tenure, 1945 to 1953, State. Missouri. Major accomplishment. Ordered atomic bombs. Initiated Marshall Plan. Key event. Berlin airlift during Cold War. 34. President Dwight D. Eisenhower, Party, Republican, tenure, 1953 to 1961, State, Texas. Major accomplishment. Interstate highway system. Key event. Soviet launch of Sputnik. 35. President John F. Kennedy, Party, Democratic, tenure, 1961 to 1963, State, Massachusetts. Major accomplishment. Advanced civil rights and space programs. Key event. Cuban Missile Crisis. 36. President Lyndon B. Johnson, Party, Democratic, tenure, 1963 to 1969, State, Texas. Major accomplishment. Landmark civil rights legislation. Key event. Vietnam War escalation. 37. President Richard Nixon, Party, Republican, tenure, 1969 to 1974, State, California. Major accomplishment. Diplomatic relations with China. Key event. Watergate scandal, resignation. 38. President Gerald Ford, Party, Republican, tenure, 1974 to 1977, State, Nebraska. Major accomplishment. Restored public trust post-Watergate. Key event. Pardon Nixon. 39. President Jimmy Carter, Party, Democratic, tenure, 1977 to 1981, State, Georgia. Major accomplishment. Camp David Accords. Key event. Iran hostage crisis. 40. President Ronald Reagan, Party, Republican, tenure, 1981 to 1989, State, Illinois. Major accomplishment. Economic reforms. End of Cold War. Key event. Fall of Berlin Wall. 41. President George H. W. Bush, Party, Republican, tenure, 1989 to 1993, State, Texas. Major accomplishment. Led coalition in Gulf War. Key event. Dissolution of the Soviet Union. 42. President Bill Clinton, Party, Democratic, tenure, 1993 to 2001, State, Arkansas. Major accomplishment. Economic prosperity. NAFTA. Key event. Impeachment trial. 43. President George W. Bush, Party, Republican, tenure, 2001 to 2009, State, Texas. Major accomplishment. Response to 9/11 attacks. Key event. Iraq War. 44. President Barack Obama, Party, Democratic, tenure, 2009 to 2017, State, Illinois. Major accomplishment. Affordable Care Act. Key event. Osama bin Laden operation. 45. President Donald Trump, Party, Republican, tenure, 2017 to 2021, State, New York. Major accomplishment. Tax reform and prison reform. Key event. COVID-19 pandemic. 46. President Joe Biden, Party, Democratic, tenure, 2021, present, State, Delaware. Major accomplishment. COVID-19 vaccine rollout. Infrastructure investments. Key event. Afghanistan withdrawal. And Ukraine and Russia war. 47. President Donald Trump, Party, Republican, tenure, 2025, present, State, New York. Major accomplishment. TBD, as his second term is ongoing. Key event. TBD, as events unfold during his current tenure.